Part 7. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 61. Let's go, there are no valuable people left on the island. Lucifer opened the devil's wings and soared into the sky with Baby 5. Enel also took Cavendish and followed Lucifer closely. The battle in the town was fierce and there was a lot of movement. But there were not many residents dared to come out to watch the excitement. In the minds of the residents of the Seven Waters City, a battle that could cause such a commotion must be pirates. They did not want to be involved in the pirates' battle and lose their lives in vain. Only a few were hiding in the distance. The pirates vaguely saw several black figures flying across the sky. They did not see the appearance of the black figures clearly, but they had some guesses in their hearts. The only one who dared to act so wantonly in the capital of Seven Waters was the devil Lucifer. Back in the cabin of the netherworld, Lucifer opened the Properties panel. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed color Haki, advanced. Wisdom color Haki, advanced. Overlord color Haki, advanced. Killing points, 180,000. Hunting and killing Rob Looky. Several people, rode the total number of killing points in Western France has reached 180,000. At the same time, Lucifer flipped his hands and several devil fruits appeared on the table. They are the Black Panther fruit, cut fruit, gate fruit, and cheetah fruit obtained by Lucifer. 2 animal type and 2 superhuman type. Although they are not top-notch abilities, they can still be called powerful. If you want to upgrade your Haki, you need 200,000 killing points, so you can only recycle devil fruit. Lucifer is still short of 20,000 killing points, so naturally he doesn't want to waste time looking for prey. Moreover, the Black Panther fruit is very similar to the cheetah fruit. 1 is enough, not 2. System, recover Black Panther fruit. Ding, the Black Panther fruit was recovered successfully and 30,000 killing points were obtained. A ray of light enveloped the Black Panther fruit, and the Black Panther fruit just disappeared. At the same time, Lucifer's killing point reached 210,000. Now, I can finally buy the peak armed color Haki. Lucifer called up the system store and found the location of armed color Haki. System, purchase the peak armed color domineering. Ding, the peak armed color domineering purchase was successful, 200,000 killing points were deducted, and the remaining killing points were 10,000. A force surged into Lucifer's body, causing Lucifer's armed domineering power to instantly evolve to its peak. The peak armed domineering power, whether in terms of defense or attack power, density, and total amount, was far beyond the advanced level. With a thought, Lucifer the whole body was instantly covered with armed color Haki. In addition to the surface of the skin, a large amount of armed color Haki was also condensed on the outer layer of the skin. The armed color Haki was like a set of thick armor, covering Lucifer's whole body without any flaw. Door. Moreover, the total amount of Lucifer's armed color Haki is very large, and it is quickly restored while being consumed, which can almost achieve a perfect cycle of consumption and recovery. In this way, Lucifer's armed color Haki is endless. Strong, too strong, terrifyingly strong. Now Lucifer's strength has soared. If he faces Kizaru again, it will be easier to defeat him. The last time he defeated Kizaru, Lucifer used many powers such as flash power, gravity, and creation. In the end, he defeated Kizaru. The key is that Lucifer used the rule-based power of the word spirit fruit to weaken Kizaru's own flash power, so that he could defeat him. But now, Lucifer does not need to weaken Kizaru, and can directly break the law with force to defeat him powerfully. Defeated. Putting away the armed color Haki armor, Lucifer recalled the attribute panel. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, Word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed color haki, peak. Wisdom color haki, advanced. Overlord color haki, advanced. Killing points, 10,000. After a wave of high consumption, Lucifer only has 10,000 killing points left, which is pitiful. The hunting trip is about to begin again. Lucifer glanced at the system store and sighed in his heart. Then, Lucifer closed the system interface and looked at the 3 devil fruits on the desktop. These 3 devil fruits are neither strong nor weak. Should they be used for cultivation? Under his command, Lucifer hasn't made up his mind yet. Cavendish is currently the only one in the Nether Pirates who is not an Esper. Lucifer asked him, but Cavendish doesn't want to eat devil fruit. There are always some people who don't want to become landlubbers. Keep it for now so that it can be used by the crew in the future, or it can be recycled when there is a lack of killing points. Lucifer waved his hand and put away the 3 devil fruits. After a night of silence, the dawn rose as usual and dispelled the darkness. In the early morning, a scream suddenly rang out in the capital of 7 waters. Ah! Many people were awakened by the screams and walked to the streets. They saw several broken houses and bars that had become ruins at a glance. At the same time, the bodies of Lucci and others were finally discovered. Lucci was the first to be discovered because he was pinned to the wall by Lucifer. He could be seen as long as he raised his head. Lucci, this is Mr. Lucci. And Keku. Mr. Bruno. Even Miss Khalifa is dead. Everyone found 3 other corpses from the ruins, and they all looked sad and angry. During the years when CP9 was undercover, Lucci and others had good interpersonal relationships and were very respected by the residents of the 7 Waters capital. Now they see 4 people from Lucci were killed, and these residents were naturally heartbroken. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 62. Pirates, it must have been done by hateful pirates. In the battle last night, it was the pirates who were killing people. Damn it, these pirates are so unforgivable. Why did you kill Mr. Lucci and the others? They're just shipwrights and bar owners. Is it aimed at Mr. Bingshan? Lucci and Keku are shipwrights of Bingshan Shipbuilding Company, and Khalifa is Bingshan's secretary. All 3 of them are inextricably related to Bingshan. After thinking about it for a while, everyone felt that they had guessed the truth. Find someone quickly to inform Mr. Bingshan. Yes, we must protect Mr. Iceberg. As the mayor of the 7 Waters city, Bingshan is respected by the residents of the entire island. Knowing that he might be targeted by pirates, the residents were horrified. Bingshan quickly arrived at the scene and looked at the several corpses in silence. Just sent someone to take the body away. He was very sad, but he didn't know that he owed Lucifer a big favor. Bingshan never imagined that his capable employees and personal secretaries would be secret agents of the world government. When Bingshan sent people to collect the bodies, among the crowd of onlookers, a man in a black suit silently left the crowd. He walked to a hidden alley and dialed the phone number Zhong. Hey, it's me. Something happened to Mr. Lucci and the others. 4 adults, Lucci, Keku, Bruno, and Khalifa, all died in the capital of 7 Waters. It is not yet certain whether their identities have been exposed. Okay, I understand, I will continue to pay attention to the situation here. The agent in black hung up the phone, with a trace of shock still remaining in the depths of his pupils. Who would have thought that CP9, known as the strongest in 800 years, would die here silently? All of this is because of that demonic man. The agent turned his attention to the distant port, where many pirate ships were docked. No one dared to approach one of the pirate ships, and the surrounding sea area was equivalent to a restricted area. Although there was no evidence to show who the murderer was, there was something hidden on the island. The agents know it very well. Only the Nether pirates can defeat CP9. The death of Rob Lucci and others also represents the complete failure of the undercover operation of the world government. Pluto's design is what the world's government wants to get. For this reason, they did not hesitate to send CP9 to personally undercover, which shows that the top officials of the government attach great importance to it. It involves the blueprints of Hades and the demon Lucifer. After the news came back, it was quickly reported layer by layer and reached the ears of Wulaoxing. Holy Land Marijoya, Pangu City Palace. The 5 old stars gathered together, their faces a little gloomy. They are indeed a bunch of trash, they can't even handle such a small thing. Who is the leader of CP9? The mission failed. He bears a heavy responsibility. Send him to the guillotine. Now is not the time to hold people accountable, the key is Pluto's design. The identity of CP9 is top secret. Lucifer should not know the identities of Dodge and the others. You can't take risks, even if there is only a slight possibility, you must eliminate it. The Navy has checked Lucifer's life, and he probably doesn't know about the existence of Pluto's blueprint. It seems like they are just chasing prey. The 5 old stars spoke to each other, and although their tone was plain, it was full of majesty. After the incident broke out, Lucifer's detailed information had already been sent to them. They also had a clear understanding of what Lucifer had done. By analyzing Lucifer's series of actions after going to sea, the 5 old stars have determined that Lucifer is a person who likes killing and pursues the pursuit of killing strong men. Lucifer is very similar to Hawkeye, except that Hawkeye only pursues and kills swordsmen. Lucifer pursues all strong men. This is originally a very sharp knife. If used properly, it may not be unable to become a tool of the world government. But it is a pity that Lucifer's identity changed to pirates. They can't say that the Navy did something wrong in destroying Falu Island. They can only say that it was fate. Lucifer should not know the existence of Pluto's design, but he himself has become a disaster and must be dealt with. The blonde 5 old star stood by the window and said calmly. The Navy has decided to let Lucifer enter the New World and use the pirates in the New World to deal with him. This is not bad. According to Lucifer's style of behavior, if he enters the New World, he will soon conflict with those people. Then the Navy will be able to reap the benefits. The bald 5 old stars agreed with Marshal Warring State's actions. However, the Navy's strength has increased sharply in recent years. If the situation in the New World gets out of control, the Navy may also lose control. This must be noted. The bearded 5 old star said lightly. In the eyes of the 5 old star, they don't care about the Navy, pirates, or 4 emperors. They only care about one thing, and that is balance. As long as the overall situation of the world does not get out of control, the dominance of the Genfu will not be shaken. It's just a group of pirates, no matter how strong they are. After a few decades, they will naturally die of old age. But the Genfu of the world will still exist. The 5 old stars don't want the pirates to be too strong. They don't want the Navy to be too strong, or even to wipe out the pirates. They hope that the Navy and the pirates will always be at odds. In this way, the Navy will always be a tool of the world government. If the pirates are wiped out, then the Navy will be a tool. It will be useless. Then the tool may come back to bite the owner. Although there is a high possibility that Lucifer does not know the existence of Pluto's blueprint, he cannot completely let go of the possibility. The sword-wielding 5 old star wiped his katana and said indifferently. You mean, invite him to become a Shishibukai? The curly-haired 5 old star looked at each other. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 63. You mean, invite him to become a Shishibukai? The 5 curly-haired stars looked at each other. As long as Lucifer becomes the Shishibukai, they can always monitor Lucifer's every move. As long as Lucifer is under their noses, they are not afraid that he will not reveal his flaws. But the Shishibukai is full and there are no vacancies. Won't there be a vacancy soon? Vegapunk needs experimental subjects, Big Bear can abdicate at any time. This is a good idea. I will notify Warring States and ask him to send out the invitation letter. After leaving the capital of Seven Waters, Lucifer headed to his next stop, the Devil's Triangle. On the deck of the Netherworld, Lucifer took the Hades design notes and looked through them carefully. Pluto is a huge battleship equipped with a variety of powerful weapons. According to legend, Pluto can destroy an island with just one cannon. Lucifer was dizzy when he saw it. The data and specifications of those weapons were too complicated for him, a weapons novice, to understand. In addition, the explanation text next to it is all ancient text, and Lucifer can't understand it even more. It is simply impossible to create Hades, but these weapon styles can be used as a reference. Lucifer didn't originally intend to create Hades. All he wanted from the beginning to the end was the weapons above. Even if he can't understand it, as long as he uses the word spirit fruit to generate it again and again, he will be able to create powerful weapons sooner or later for Lucifer. This adds a fighting method. In addition, Pluto is most useful to Baby 5. She is a superhuman weapon fruit user, and various parts of her body can be transformed into various weapons at will. But Baby 5's imagination was too low before, and the only weapons it could transform were machetes, pistols, and Gatling guns. The most powerful one was just a human missile. In Lucifer's view, Baby 5 didn't show the true power of its weaponry at all. Power. If she can transform the weapons on Pluto's battleship, the power will be terrifying. By then, Baby 5's combat power will be exponentially improved. As long as Baby 5 can succeed, she can become the firepower of the Netherworld pirates. Baby 5, come here. Lucifer shouted. Yes, Captain Lucifer, what are your orders? Baby 5 came to Lucifer's side with a shy look on his face. Take a look at this weapon design diagram and try to see if you can transform it into the weapon above. Lucifer tore out a few pages of Pluto's design and handed them into Baby 5's hands. Yes, I will try my best, Captain Lucifer. Baby 5 once again felt the happiness of being needed. He held the weapon design in his hand and was full of fighting spirit. Lucifer was also looking forward to how powerful the weapon fruit would be when combined with Pluto's design. Maybe Lucifer could do it himself. Maybe we can create a pirate version of Iron Man. Time passed, and a week later, the Netherworld sailed into the Devil's Triangle. Ever since Moria made this area his home, hundreds of ships have sunk in this area every month. Over time, this devilish sea also became a forbidden area in the first half of the Grand Route. Some weak guys dare not approach the sea area at all. Hey, the fog here is too thick, I can't even see the sea. Cavendish stood on the bow of the ship, looking left and right. The Netherworld was surrounded by thick fog, and it was impossible to see clearly with the naked eye over 3 meters. This sea area is very large. If you lose your direction and drift in the wind, you may not be able to see it clearly for decades. Can't leave this sea. The eyes can't see, but seeing and hearing the domineering color is very clear. If you want to blame, I can only blame you for being too weak. Anilu sat on the mast, eating an apple in his hand, and laughed. Bastard, who are you calling weak? Come down and have a fight if you can. Cavendish stood up with white eyes and a mouth full of fangs. After a period of training, Cavendish has successfully awakened the armed color and the knowledge color domineering, and has practiced to the basic level and can use it freely. But unfortunately, AI Nilu's talent is better than Cavendish. Moreover, Nilu's domineering power is already very strong, so Cavendish is naturally not as good as him. Gods won't argue with a mortal, ha 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 ha. Anilu has competed with Cavendish several times, and he won every time. Now he has lost interest in Cavendish. Now, Captain, you said there is a monster in the sea area. When can we find him? Enilu is eager to try and is very interested in the goal, Lucifer said. Just wait, it depends on luck. The Devil's Triangle sea area is too big, and Lucifer cannot use his knowledge and domineering power to investigate every inch. He can only wait for Moria's dead otaku to come to the door. Bang! Suddenly, the netherworld made a noise, as if it hit something. Captain, it is a floating bottle. There is a floating bottle on the sea. Baby 5 looked at the bottom of the boat and said, "Look, isn't this delivered to your door?" Lucifer smiled faintly. "Open the bottle." "Good." Baby 5's fingers turned into gun barrels and hit the bottle with one shot. Then the bottle exploded, and a firework shot up into the sky and exploded in the sky. "Is this a signal?" "Our position was exposed," Cavendish said, looking at the fireworks above his head. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 64. On the sea, many pirates will use this method to hunt other pirates. Once the flare is triggered, the location is exposed. It won't be long before fatal murderous intentions will follow. "Yeah, ha 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 ha, are you treating us as prey?" Eniru sat on the mast and laughed. Cavendish and Baby 5 also showed a playful smile. They have always been the only ones in the netherworld pirates to hunt others, and this is the first time they have been hunted by others. High-end hunters often appear as prey. This is the highest state of hunting. Lucifer drank the red wine in his hand and looked expectantly at the thick foggy sea ahead. Moria did not disappoint Lucifer, but after waiting for more than an hour, the huge three-mast sailboat appeared. Hey, this is ridiculously big, right? Is this also a pirate ship?" "It's just a small island." Cavendish stared blankly at the bloody mouth that appeared in front of him. The big mouth opened and swallowed the netherworld into his belly. Behind the bloody mouth, there was a pirate ship. It was said to be a pirate ship. But its size is not inferior to that of the island. There is a forest on the island, shrouded in thick fog, exuding an eerie atmosphere. The hoarse crows of crows can be heard in the forest from time to time, as if zombies or ghosts will run out at any time. This is a terrifying three-mast sailboat, the largest pirate ship in the world. Lucifer looked at the island in front of him and said lightly, "That monster named Moria lives on the island." Lightning flashed out of Enilu's body, and he couldn't wait to take action. "That's right, I just don't know what his current strength is like. How many % of his peak strength is there?" After Moria was defeated by Kaido, he embarked on a bottomless road of depravity. He sailed the terrifying three-mast ship into the foggy sea, established a zombie army, and then hid deep in the fog and began his journey. Otaku career. For so many years, Moria neglected his training, slept hard every day, and only occasionally bullied some new pirates. His strength has been declining. This also led to his defeat by the Straw Hat Pirates, who had just debuted a few years later. In the hands of the regiment. "Let's go in and have a look. They've invited us. It would be rude not to go." Lucifer asked Cavendish to anchor, and everyone was preparing to land on the island. Suddenly, Enel fired a bolt of lightning and hit Baby 5 standing on the deck. Enel's sudden attack shocked Cavendish and Baby 5 jump, but the thunder and lightning did not hit Baby 5, but hit the air behind Baby 5. "Ah!" Screams came from the air, and a figure slowly appeared from the air. He fell on the deck, his whole body charred, body twitching constantly. Hey, who is this guy? Can you actually become invisible?" Cavendish was astonished. "Humph, he's just a pervert." Baby 5's eyes showed disgust. She already understood what this person wanted to do just now, and nodded to Anilu to express her gratitude. "This person is one of the three weirdos under Moria, Absalom, A Superman. A user with transparent fruit abilities. This is a complete pervert, who often uses his abilities to spy on women. He uses the transparent fruit like this, which can be considered a weird thing. Kill it, there is no use keeping it. Lucifer waved his hand and shot out a flying sword that pierced Absalom's throat. Ding, the host killed the pirate Absalom and obtained 3,500 killing points. It's very cheap. This is just a trash fish. After that, Lucifer used the power of the word spirit fruit to recover the transparent fruit. The ability of the transparent fruit is very powerful. Making the body transparent and disappearing is just the most superficial use. A truly strong person can use transparency. The fruit eliminates one's own aura, and even the haki of wisdom and information cannot capture him. It can be said to be the most powerful fruit for assassination attacks. Let's go to the island and have a look. Lucifer put away the transparent fruit and led everyone to the island. The island was dark and eerie. There were sounds from the surrounding forest from time to time, adding a touch of weirdness. There are so many people on this island. Are they all enemies? Anilu said suddenly. Under the perception of Shinwan Se Haki, there was a large amount of life breath distributed in the forest, with thousands of them. No, these are just a group of unlucky guys captured by Moria, we don't need to worry about them. The world of One Piece is dominated by the jungle. They were caught by Moria, took away their shadows, and lost their freedom. They can only blame them for being too weak. Lucifer has no intention of rescuing them. And after defeating Moria, their shadows will naturally return to their original state. Next to the Master, Lucifer and others passed through the forest cemetery, and all the zombies that appeared along the way were defeated. Soon, they arrived at the door of the central castle. Ha 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 ha. Suddenly, a burst of chuckles came. Several white ghosts appeared above Lucifer's head, floating left and right, looking at them with cute expressions. Oh, Captain, there really is a ghost. Cavendish was excited and interested in ghosts. Humph, even zombies appeared, so what's weird about ghosts? Baby 5 said while blowing out smoke rings. It's just a trick to show off. Anilu took action directly and struck out a thunder dragon with his palm, which hit several ghosts in the sky. But unfortunately, the thunder dragon passed through the ghosts, and the ghosts were unharmed. It's useless, this is a spirit body, physical attacks are useless. You must use your armed color haki. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at West Lake. Chapter 65. It's useless, this is a spirit body, physical attacks are useless. You must use your armed color haki. After speaking, Lucifer raised his hand and waved, flying sword. A flying sword covered with armed color haki shot out of the air, instantly piercing 7 ghosts in the sky. The 7 ghosts exploded and disappeared without a trace. Armed color haki is the nemesis of ability users, and it can naturally attack the fruits created by abilities. The ghost. After dealing with the ghost, Lucifer looked at the courtyard of the castle. Based on what he saw and heard, Perona, who created the ghost, was hiding there. And judging from the direction of movement of the breath, she was running away. He was quite decisive in escaping. In the original work, Perona also ran away immediately after seeing that the Straw Hat Pirates were not easy to mess with. Today's Lucifer is even more difficult to mess with than the Straw Hat Pirates, and of course Perona didn't dare to stay. When scanning the breath, Lucifer also discovered the location of Mariah. He was in the deepest part of the castle, still sleeping. You should also go and play in the courtyard. Some zombies are quite strong. Lucifer remembered that Moria created a group of zombie generals, all of whom were famous strong men during their lifetimes. Among them, Captain John, the great pirate of the old era, was also one of them. There was also Ryoma, the great dragon-slaying swordsman of Wano, and Calvin. Dish should gain some combat experience by facing him. Yes, Captain. Cavendish and Baby 5 split up and went to the side courtyard of the castle. Lucifer looked at the gloomy castle in front of him and showed an evil smile. It's time to ask Mariah to get up and pick up the guests. Alney Road. Clear. Anilu smiled ferociously, facing the sky with his palms, and suddenly dropped them. God's sanction. Boom. A thick bolt of lightning fell from the sky and hit the gloomy castle instantly. The lightning penetrated the roof of the castle, penetrated the ceilings of the buildings, and soon penetrated into the depths of the castle. Boom. An explosion shook the whole island. It shook a few times. Ah! A sharp scream sounded from the depths of the castle, and then a big meatball jumped out of the castle. Who is it? Which bastard dares to cause trouble in my castle? Moria's voice was sharp, and his mouth was full of fangs when he roared. Behind him, the castle was still emitting billowing smoke. If the gravel fell, the castle would collapse at any time. Did you two assholes do this? Through the dust, Moria noticed the existence of Lucifer and Enel. Suddenly, his pupils shrank and his eyes widened instantly. It's you, the devil Lucifer. Moria finally saw Lucifer's face clearly. Although the devil's triangle is isolated from the outside world, Moria can still know the news from the outside world when plundering ships. As the strongest supernova in the year 1516 of the Atlantic calendar, Lucifer is very famous. Moria naturally knows him. You bastard, how dare you come to trouble me, don't you want to live? Shadow horn gun. Moria turned his shadow into a huge spear and shot at Lucifer's face. Clang. A ball of sparks flew. Moria's shadow horn gun was intercepted in mid-air, and what blocked him was a spear. Golden stick. Zombie monster, let me play with you. Just you, our captain doesn't need to take action. As soon as he finished speaking, Enelu suddenly turned into a bolt of lightning and shot towards Moria. Damn it, you dare to underestimate me, don't be too arrogant. Moria was so angry that he was shaking all over. When he retracted the shadow horn gun, it suddenly exploded and turned into countless bats flying towards Enel Road. Flying bats? It's a pity that when the bats touched Enelu, they were all scattered by lightning. Is he actually a natural ability user? Molia's face instantly darkened. Yes, this is the power of God. Enelu waved the golden stick and shot a ferocious and roaring thunder beast towards Moria. Huh, what kind of God's power is it? It's just natural, nothing strange. Moria roared furiously, stepped forward with his huge body, and knocked the thunder beast away with one punch. Oh! Will he still use the armed color haki? Lucifer stood aside and watched the battle. He was a little surprised when he saw Moria's move. You know, in the original book in 1520, Moria was not armed and domineering. Otherwise, he would not be so easily defeated by the Straw Hat Pirates. The regiment was defeated. Of course, who do you think I am? Being looked down upon by Lucifer, Moria became even more furious. When did His Majestic King Shisabukai, the world-famous pirate, ever suffer such an insult? Lucifer looked at him with naked disdain, as if it's like he's weak. Aren't you just a dead otaku? I eat and sleep every day, and my figure is like a ball. Lucifer said with a smile. Nanny? Are you kidding me? Arrogant brat, so abominable. Mariah's self-esteem seemed to have been hit, and his eyes were red as if he was about to eat Lucifer. Asshole, go to hell. Shadow horn gun. Another shadow spear shot towards Lucifer, several times faster than before. Really, I originally wanted Enelu to play with you, why do you have to force me to take action? Lucifer shook his head, with a look of helplessness on his face. Boom. The shadow horn gun hit Lucifer, a powerful shockwave erupted, and endless dust flew everywhere. Jai-hi, you bastard, you know how powerful I am. Seeing the attack hit Lucifer, Moria suddenly laughed sharply. However, the laughter soon stopped. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 66. The dust dispersed, Lucifer moved his palm forward, and the shadow horn gun was blocked by his palm. There was an invisible wall in the middle that blocked the shadow horn gun. No matter how hard Moglia tried, he could not break through this barrier. Wall of vacuum. Lucifer's face was expressionless. Just one hand, as if the distance between heaven and earth. Hateful. Shinra Tianzhang. Before Moria finished speaking, Lucifer had already launched his killing move. The powerful repulsion pushed the vacuum wall to shoot out suddenly, hitting Moria instantly. The vacuum wall was also covered with high-density armed domineering, and its power was unparalleled. Moria was hit hard, blood spurted out, and the fangs in his mouth suddenly shattered on the ground. The huge body shot out like a cannonball, hitting the gloomy castle behind him heavily. Then, the castle was penetrated. After collapsing, Moria still did not stop and flew into the forest behind. Big trees along the way were broken, boulders were smashed, and a crack seemed to be cut in the dense forest. Alala, you fly so far. Lucifer's domineering energy has been locked on Moria, and he saw Moria flying thousands of meters away. Fortunately, Moria's ship is very big, otherwise he would have fallen directly into the sea. Hey, Captain Lucifer, didn't you tell me to deal with Moria? Enilu was a little dissatisfied at being robbed of his prey. Lucifer smiled lightly, you can't blame me. It was Lucifer who took the initiative to attack me. Shouldn't I fight back? Who knew he was so weak and couldn't even take one of my moves? Then, Lucifer and Enilu flew into the forest. Mariah was lying in a pit, covered in bruises and blood. His body was twisted into shape, and he didn't know how many bones were broken. But he was not dead yet. Moria's huge size gives him tenacious vitality, which is also a rare advantage. Mix, asshole. Mariah's face was covered with blood, and his hazy eyes wanted to open, but he had no strength. Although he was not dead, his body was unable to move due to severe injuries, and he could only be killed by his neck. Before he could finish his intermittent sentences, he completely lost consciousness. Moria fell into a coma, and the power of the shadow fruit naturally failed. Dense shadows appeared all over the island. These shadows flew into the sky like ghosts, and then dispersed and flew to every corner of the world. Although it is not as weak as imagined, it is not much stronger either. Being a homebody really has no future. Lucifer shook his head and gently raised his right hand. Flying sword. Phew. A flying sword shot out of the air and penetrated Moria's chest instantly. Moria's huge body twitched, and finally there was no movement at all. Ding, the host killed the pirate Moria and obtained 30,000 killing points. 30,000. Same as Rob Lucci? Lucifer originally thought Moria was worthless, but he didn't expect it to be quite a lot. But it is understandable that although Moria's current strength has declined a lot, at least he can still use armed colors. Domineering. He is weak in physical skills and slow in speed. In terms of overall strength, he should be on par with Rob Lucci. After killing Moria, Lucifer's total killing points returned to 40,000. Be reborn. Lucifer stretched out his palm and pointed it at Mariah's body, grabbed it hard, and an invisible ability was locked by him. After merging with the fruit in his left hand, a dark devil fruit with spiral patterns on its surface was born. It is Moria's shadow fruit. The shadow fruit's ability is not strong. On the contrary, Lucifer even thinks it is a bit useless. The shadow fruit can steal other people's shadows and combine them with their corpses to create loyal zombie soldiers. but there are the first premise is that the owner whose shadow is taken away cannot die. Once the owner dies, the shadow will disappear and the zombie soldiers will be useless. In this way, Moria cannot kill someone else after taking his shadow. This is tantamount to leaving future troubles for yourself. If you cut the grass without eradicating the root, it will grow again with the spring breeze. This kind of behavior of the shadow fruit ability user will only bring endless enemies to yourself, and you can't kill these enemies. He can kill you, but you can't kill him. This shortcoming alone means that the shadow fruit is useless. System, recover the shadow fruit. Ding, the shadow fruit has been recovered and 10,000 killing points were obtained. Sure enough, even the system judged that the value of the shadow fruit is not high. Attribute panel. Host, Lucifer. Age, 23. Devil fruit, word spirit fruit. Physique, hell demon. Armed color haki, peak. Wisdom color haki, advanced. Overlord color haki, advanced. Killing points, 50,000. Killing Moria provided a total of 40,000 killing points for Lucifer. Lucifer's total killing points have reached 50,000. Boom. 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 At this moment, footsteps sounded. Cavendish and Baby 5 came running from a distance. Judging from their appearance, they had just experienced a hard fight, but they were not seriously injured. Captain, you moved too fast. I was halfway through the fight, and those zombies died on their own. Cavendish's fighting spirit has not subsided. He just fought against a group of zombie generals alone, some of them were very powerful, and the fight was very enjoyable. That can only mean that your strength is too weak. If you were strong enough, you wouldn't be held back by the soldiers. How about it? Have you found a worthy opponent? Found it, it's the legendary swordsman Ryoma, the dragon-slaying warrior. Cavendish was very excited. As a swordsman, he has heard of the existence of Ryoma to some extent. This legendary dragon-slaying warrior has reached the peak of his swordsmanship and is famous all over the world. He is the target of countless swordsmen. Many. The swordsman practices hard, just to become a great swordsman like Ryoma. He and Hawkeye are the monuments in the hearts of countless swordsmen. Captain, I got this from Ryoma. Cavendish handed a sword to Lucifer, and it turned out to be the black sword Kyushui. Kyushui is one of the 21 skills of the Great Sword, and it is also a national treasure of Wano. Although it is a great sword, it has been forged by Ryoma. Black knife. So far, Lucifer knows the existence of two black knives. One is the black knife in Hawkeye's hand, and the other is the black knife Kyushui in his hand. Clang. Lucifer suddenly pulled out Kyushui, and a cold light flashed through Lucifer's eyes. The blade was black and purple, with a red serrated pattern. It was a reverse T-shaped sword. It was indeed a good knife, but it was of no use to me. Lucifer is not a swordsman, and his ability does not require him to learn swordsmanship. This black sword falls into his hands and is destined to be nothing more than a collection. However, as a collectible, black knife Kyushui is heavy enough. There are few treasures in the world that can be compared with the black sword and autumn water. Let's go, Moria is dead, there is no valuable prey left on this island. Lucifer turned around and left the island with Eniro and others. Returning to the netherworld, he quickly sailed away from the terrifying three-mast ship. After Moria was killed, the fog shrouded the Devil's Triangle. They seemed to have dispersed. Lucifer found the right direction and quickly left the Devil's Triangle. At the same time, the pirates caught by Moria also escaped from the terrifying three-mast sailing ship. It probably won't take long before the Shishibukai news of Moria's murder will spread. Naval Headquarters, Marineford. After a period of training, General Kizaru finally regained some of his energy. In the ward, Kizaru was lying leisurely on the bed. The adjutant next to him, Ranjis, peeled an apple and handed it to Kizaru respectfully. "General Kizaru, please use." "Well, thank you very much, Ranjis." Kizaru took the apple and took a bite. It was full of juice and sweet. "Well, this kind of life is really beautiful. No need to go to work, no need to work overtime, and no need to get injured in battle." Kizaru couldn't help but narrowed his eyes. He enjoyed this life very much. Although his injury has not completely healed, he can actually be discharged from the hospital and can recover at home. But Kizaru doesn't want to leave. Stay in the hospital. Every day he has clothes to put on, food to eat, and a beautiful nurse to take care of him. Days like this are what Kizaru dreams of. If possible, Kizaru really wants to stay in the hospital for the rest of his life. Suddenly he felt that this time he was injured it seemed good. At least it gave me a few months of vacation, and the good days could last for a long time. Bang! Suddenly, the door to the ward was knocked open. Marshal Sengoku pushed open the door and entered, his face a little ugly. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 67. Polusalino, how long are you going to stay in the hospital? The doctor has said that you can be discharged from the hospital. Sengoku rushed to Kizaru's bed in a furious manner. No, Mr. Sengoku, my injury hasn't healed yet," Kizaru said with curled lips. "The attack from Lucifer's monster is very terrifying. It's already very difficult for me to save my life. According to the current situation, it may take 3 months or even half a year to recuperate before being discharged." The doctor said that with Kizaru's physique, he could be discharged from the hospital in 1 or 2 weeks and fully recovered in 1 or 2 months. But on this basis, Kizaru extended the time several times. Warring States looked at Kizaru with a salty expression. Yu's wretched appearance, the rage in his heart was burning, and he could no longer suppress it. "Stop saying stupid things, Kizaru, you are an admiral and there are many things waiting for you to deal with. There is not so much time for you to fish. Get up, old man." No, Marshal of the Warring States period, I am." Suddenly, Kizaru's expression changed and he quickly covered his chest. "No way, the wound Lucifer left on me has opened again. Nurse, where is the nurse? I need emergency treatment, the personal kind." More than a dozen characters well appeared on Warring States forehead. His fists were clenched tightly, and he wished he could kill the yellow monkey with one punch. He had never seen a naval admiral like Kizaru, who was so desperate to catch fish. He lost all face. Not only Kizaru, but also all the 3 generals under him gave him no peace of mind. Kizaru was a salty fish, Aokiji was lazy, and Akainu was too radical. During the decades when he was a marshal, the Warring States period, his head is getting bigger. Damn it, I'm going to dye my hair again after this time. Several major events that have happened in succession recently have made Senguo anxious, and his hair is turning gray faster. He only relies on hair dyeing to maintain his old and strong appearance. "Okay, stop pretending, I have agreed to your request for a salary increase." Warring States suppressed the anger in his heart and gritted his teeth. "Well, don't say that, Marshal of the Warring States period, my injuries are real, that monster Lucifer is very strong. In this mission, I almost lost my life." Speaking of Lucifer, Kizaru's face became less vulgar and more solemn. Thinking of the monster that seriously injured him, Kizaru had to take it seriously. Okay, stop talking nonsense, I have already paid your work injury compensation." Warring States waved his hands and returned to his serious demeanor. "I came to you this time to ask you clearly, what is Lucifer's ability? You have fought with him, so you should know best." When talking about business, Kizaru also put away his obscene expression and showed a serious look. "Lucifer has many abilities. To be honest, I can't be sure what fruit he ate. However, I have a guess. After some conversation, Marshal Sengoku left the naval hospital with a solemn expression. As soon as he returned to the Navy headquarters building, he immediately ordered the adjutant to convene a meeting with the Navy's top brass. In the Navy conference room, many senior Navy officials arrived. Warring States is sitting in the main seat, with General Kingsley on the left, Chief Staff He and Lieutenant General Garp on the right. Many Navy admirals arrived. The atmosphere in the conference room was very serious. It was rare for Lieutenant General Garp not to eat donuts and cause trouble for warring states. "Hey guys, I just came back from the naval hospital. Let me tell you the good news first. Kizaru's injury has almost recovered and he will be able to return to work soon." As soon as these words came out, the senior Navy officials in the conference room all showed joy. The three admirals of the Navy are the Navy's highest combat power, and it is always incomplete without one. Now that Kizaru has returned, the strength of the Navy headquarters can be regarded as its peak. Secondly, the information about Lucifer obtained from Kizaru. During Kizaru's battle with Lucifer, he witnessed Lucifer using various powers such as flash, sword, gravity, and gravity. You must already know how powerful these forces are. Kizaru was not sure what kind of fruit ability user Lucifer was, but he got a guess based on Lucifer's fighting style. According to him, Lucifer would shout out the name of the move before every move. Kizaru originally thought it was a habit, but later determined that it was not a habit. Lucifer's abilities may be triggered by sound. Ability triggered by sound. Isn't that what only sonic fruits can do? Sound devil fruits are very rare. There is only one sonic fruit recorded by the Navy. Lucifer is not a person with sonic fruit ability. To be precise, his ability is more like speaking at will. Lucifer triggers his abilities through language. As long as he speaks, he can activate his abilities. He is very likely to be a person with the ability to speak the spirit fruit. Word spirit fruit. The hearts of everyone present jumped. Yanling is a power that only exists in legends. It is more like a mythical story. In the legend, the god who created the world used the power of Yanling to create mountains, rivers, land, sea, earth, water, wind, and fire, and ultimately built the entire world. He has the power to follow his words, can turn what he says into facts, can create things out of the void, and can control natural disasters. He is omnipotent. Marshal of the Warring States period, are you sure? Is Lucifer really a person with the ability to speak the spirit fruit? Some vice admirals don't believe it. In other words, they don't dare to believe it. With the word spirit fruit, you can speak words and turn things into facts. It's so unnatural. This kind of power should not exist at all. Demons, the existence of the fruit is already unbelievable, let alone such an unbelievable ability. Think about it, there is an enemy who can use all the powers that have ever appeared in the world as long as he speaks. Flash, thunder, fire, ice, magma, gravity, earthquakes, all powerful abilities, he can use them just by saying a word. How to defeat such an enemy? Just thinking about it, everyone present felt powerless in their hearts. Even the Vice Admiral of the Navy Garp and General Aokiji's heads were buzzing at this moment. They had been traversing the sea for decades, but they could not think of any way to deal with Lucifer. Not only can Lucifer use a variety of natural disaster powers, he can also weaken the power of others. According to Kizaru, just saying a word from Lucifer can cancel his attack and reduce the speed and power of his flash by half. The only one who can be so defiant is the word spirit fruit. According to the information obtained so far, Lucifer cannot directly use the power of speech spirit to kill the enemy, which is the only good news. Haha, it can't be used to make people die directly. Can this be considered good news? The Navy executives present felt as if there were 10,000 grass and mud horses galloping past. The power of the word spirit fruit is already incredible. If it can directly make people die, then why fight? Just let the entire Navy commit suicide? Marshal of the Warring States period, is there a way to restrain Lucifer? For example, the fruit of silence. A vice admiral put forward an idea, which brightened the eyes of the Navy executives present. Devil fruits are mutually reinforcing, and even if they go against the will of heaven, they will have the power to restrain them. Maybe a top fruit will be restrained by a very tasteless fruit. The silence fruit is just a very inconspicuous fruit, with very weak and useless abilities. The only ability is to eliminate sound. But it seems to be able to completely restrain Lucifer. As long as Lucifer's voice is eliminated, it will not make him unable to use it. Are you capable? Many vice admirals seem to have found a way to defeat Lucifer, and they were very excited. The silence fruit? Sengoku's expression was complicated. Because when he mentioned the silence fruit, he couldn't help but think of that extremely kind person. His godson, Khorasan. He was a man who maintained the purity of his humanity and cared for others no matter what the circumstances. Unfortunately, he died at the hands of his brother, Doflamingo. In his hand. He was the previous owner of the silence fruit. After Khorasan's death, the silence fruit disappeared without a trace. To be precise, Lucifer triggers his abilities through language, not through sound. I'm not sure if the fruit of silence works. Moreover, the silence fruit has a certain range of action, and it must be close to Lucifer. But you have to know that even if Lucifer doesn't use his fruit ability, his own combat power cannot be underestimated. Just getting close to him is not an easy task. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 68. But you have to know that even if Lucifer doesn't use his fruit ability, his own combat power cannot be underestimated. Just getting close to him is not an easy task. However, the fruit of silence at least provides us with an idea that is worth trying. Ahe, after the meeting, immediately mobilized the intelligence department to pursue the news of the silence fruit. Warring States looked at Lieutenant General He and gave the order. Yes, I understand. Lieutenant General He nodded. Okay, that's it for today's meeting. If anyone has any other feasible solutions, please let me know as soon as possible. Lucifer has become a serious problem. His abilities are so incredible that any feasible strategy is worth trying. Faced with Lucifer's godlike ability, the Navy headquarters has to treat it with caution. Although it is stupid to cast a wide net to catch fish, Sengoku can only use this method at present. Many senior naval officials have left, and only Sengoku is left in the conference room, Crane and Garp. During the Warring States period, for Lucifer, the world's government should have other strategies, right? Lieutenant He knows Sengoku very well. The fact that Sengoku left her and Garp alone has already explained the problem. That's right, the world's government wants to invite Lucifer to become a Shishibukai. For Garp and he, Sengoku has nothing to hide. Humph, it's true again. Although Garp is usually jovial and heartless, he has his own naval stance. He has never had a good impression of the scum of the Shishibukai. Lucifer committed a heinous crime and killed a lieutenant general in the Navy headquarters. There are 4 rear admirals and more than 5,000 naval soldiers. It is not an exaggeration to say that the Navy headquarters and Lucifer have a blood feud. However, while the Navy headquarters is trying every means to eliminate Lucifer, the world's government is trying to recruit Lucifer, completely ignoring his crime. For the Navy, this is undoubtedly a betrayal. For the Navy who died in the hands of Lucifer, it is a naked insult. They fought bloody hard to eliminate Lucifer and finally paid the price of their lives. But the world's government turned a blind eye to all this, and instead wanted to recruit murderers. So what are their sacrifices? What is the meaning? Garp can imagine that once the news of recruiting Lucifer to become the Shishibukai comes out, what kind of commotion it will cause within the Navy. I don't know how many Navy soldiers' beliefs will collapse. I know you're angry, Cap, and so am I. But this is an order from the world government, and we can only execute it. Warring States is also very angry, but there is nothing he can do about it. In the final analysis, the Navy is just a force under the command of the world government, and everything must obey the orders of the world government. Even if he is a marshal, he cannot help himself. The Navy will be angry and angry. How? The world government has never considered the feelings of the Navy. In other words, they don't care at all. They are aloof and regard all living beings in the world as ants. In the eyes of the world government, the Navy is just a tool to maintain the balance of the world. As a master, how can he care about the thoughts of tools? When he recruited the Shichibukai in the past, wouldn't it have caused an uproar? In the end, they were all suppressed by force. Which of those Shichibukai didn't have a blood feud with the Navy? Many of them flamenco even had a grudge against Sengoku for killing his son. Didn't Sengoku tolerate it as well? If you want to recruit Lucifer, there must be a vacancy, right? Now the Shichibukai is full and there are no vacancies. Lieutenant General, he said calmly. Big Bear has agreed to be Vegapunk's experimental subject and can abdicate at any time. And this is the news I just received. Warring States took out a document and handed it to Lieutenant General He. In the past few days, news has been coming from all over the world that the shadows of people whose shadows were taken away have returned. Combined with Lucifer's navigation route, that idiot Moria must have died in his hands. Arguably, now is the perfect time to recruit Lucifer. Some of the various events were coincidences, some were accidents. But in the end, they all turned out to be fate. Lucifer is unruly and murderous. I'm afraid he won't accept the recruitment of the world's government, right? No matter how much nonsense we talk here, we may only get a veto from Lucifer in the end. Garp said angrily. That's why I let you go. Warring States said seriously. Lucifer is moody. If I send someone else there, they will probably die in Lucifer's hands. It would be safest to send you there. After Sengoku issued the order, a warship left the Navy headquarters. The bow of the warship was a big dog biting a bone. This was the exclusive warship of the naval hero Garp. Although he was reluctant, Garp responded to Sengoku's order. I still accepted it. Garp didn't want to see the young Navy soldier die in vain. In the year 1516 of the Heian calendar, the sea is changing and the waves are treacherous. In the first half of the Grand Line, a demon named Lucifer emerged, a rare dazzling newcomer since the Great Pirate Era began. Within just a few months of debut, he became famous all over the world. Before entering the New World, the bounty exceeded 500 million belly. In the New World, in the second half of the Grand Line, the situation is even more unpredictable. The red-haired pirates led by Shanks finally defeated all their competitors and became the final victor after dozens of battles. Red-haired Shanks ascends to the throne of Emperor. The era of the four emperors is coming. On the Netherworld, Lucifer looked at the newspaper in his hand. The huge headline was very eye-catching. The entire page of the newspaper was covered by the red-haired face, and the domineering power of red-haired Shanks could be felt through the newspaper. The red-haired man finally became, and Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom are equal to the super pirates. Tucked in the newspaper, there is also a red-haired bounty order. Red-haired Shanks, the bounty is 3.5658 million baileys, he has committed a heinous crime, and he will live or die. 6 years later, the red-haired bounty was 4,048.9 million baileys. From the moment this bounty order appeared, the New World officially entered the Yonko era. The Yonko pirates came to the New World and opened up the New World. New situation. With the Yonko pirates ruling the New World, the living space left for other pirate groups will be further compressed. From now on, the New World will become even more cruel. Pirates without strength will not be able to survive after entering the New World. Survive, it will become a real pirate graveyard. The era of the four emperors is coming? The red-haired one is the youngest Yonko, right? Cavendish stood aside with the reward warrant, muttering to himself. Yes, he is only 33 years old, very young compared to the other three. Red hair's youth means that his peak period can last for a long time. If nothing unexpected happens, red hair will be able to dominate the new world in the next few decades. A guy with a broken arm can be so strong, so who cut off his arm? Enilu looked at the newspaper and couldn't help asking about the doubts in his heart. Not only was Enilu curious about this, Cavendish and Baby 5 were also curious. Even all the big shots in the world were curious. Regarding the red-haired broken arm, outsiders, I don't know the whole story, I just know that when Hong Hair came back from the East China Sea, he broke an arm. But the East China Sea is the weakest sea, and there are very few pirates there with a bounty of more than 30 million. Who can cut off Hong Hair's arm? Over time, this matter has also become an unsolved mystery of the Grand Line. Lucifer looked at the red-haired reward order and smiled calmly. All I can say is that everything is fate. The reason why the red-haired man broke his arm is really nonsense. It can be said that this is the biggest hole Oda has ever dug, and it can't be filled no matter how hard it is. The dignified red-haired man was bitten by a small sea king while trying to save a little furry child. Lose an arm. If this statement spreads, people will laugh out loud. What kind of person is the red hair? He has extremely strong haki cultivation. How could his arm be bitten off by a small Neptune? As long as he uses armament haki, even if the Neptune type bites him there, it won't be able to break his skin. With a burst of overlord-colored domineering energy, one look from him can make the Neptune type lose consciousness. Even if he wants to save Luffy, it won't happen like this. With the red-haired man's strength, he can save Luffy. There is no conflict between humans and those who kill the Sea King. It doesn't even take a tenth of a second to accomplish two things at the same time. It can only be said that all of this is to inspire Luffy, the destined son. However, this huge pit gives red-haired Shanks left a dark history that can never be erased. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 69. Dispelling the boring thoughts in his mind, Lucifer looked at the three Eneru and said calmly, okay, it's none of our business how the red hair happens. We will enter the new world soon, and so will the red-haired pirates, one of potential enemies. There are hidden dragons and crouching tigers in the new world, and there are many strong people. With your current strength, you are still far behind, so it is most important to strengthen your training first. After saying that, Lucifer waved his hand and pressed down on Enilica Vendish. Gravity crushes. A force of gravity exploded, immediately pressing Enel and Cavendish onto the boat. Suffering from the strong gravity, Enel and Cavendish seemed to be carrying a mountain on their backs, and could hardly move. But soon quickly, the two gritted their teeth and started doing push-ups to exercise their physical strength. These days, Lucifer has been training them in this way. Enel and Cavendish have long been used to it. Training in a gravity environment, Enel and Cavendish, the two Cavendish's physical bodies strengthened very quickly. Because Lucifer entangled armed haki in the gravity area, their haki cultivation also improved by leaps and bounds during the training process. Captain Lucifer, a Navy warship appears ahead and is approaching us. Suddenly, Baby Five's voice sounded. Navy? Do they still dare to come to your door? Lucifer smiled. Isn't this just the prey falling into the trap? Did you see who was leading the team? Lucifer picked up the red wine glass and asked with a chuckle. The other party is, it's Garp, the naval hero Garp. Baby Five exclaimed. Cap. Lucifer's expression also changed slightly. At this time, Lucifer lifted the gravity. Garp is not an ordinary navy. Although he is a vice admiral, his strength is stronger than that of a general. Lucifer still remembers that in the novel forum of his previous life, many Hymes say that Garp is the only one whose strength will not decline due to age. This old guy still maintains his peak combat power. Who is Cap? Is it strong? Anilu asked doubtfully. Strong, of course strong. Cavendish was a bit out of his mind. Garp is a hero of the Navy, a legendary Navy man who forced Roger, the Pirate King, into desperate situations several times in the old days. The Navy headquarters actually sent him here, and now something was seriously wrong. Facing Garp, all pirates will be involuntarily afraid. This has nothing to do with courage, and Cavendish is no exception. Only Enel, the ignorant and fearless, feel nothing. The speed of the warship is very fast, and it cannot pass. It didn't take long for the netherworld to enter the opponent's range. However, the opponent's warship did not launch an attack. Something is wrong. Why doesn't the other party fire? Cavendish looked at the warship in front of him with some doubts. The netherworld didn't fire because it didn't have cannon installed, but the opponent's warship had heavy artillery. And Garp's favorite thing was to throw cannonballs with his bare hands, which were equally powerful. The artillery bombardment was still strong. Phew! Suddenly, Lucifer saw a figure shot out from the warship. The figure walked through the sky and quickly approached the netherworld. You dare to rush up alone, isn't it too arrogant? Anilu turned into lightning, soared into the sky, and flew directly towards the figure in the sky. Bang! The moment the lightning came into contact with the black shadow, the lightning was immediately scattered. Anilu turned back into a physical entity and fell from the sky. All things are attracted by heaven. Lucifer raised his hand and grabbed Anilu back to the netherworld. He saw blood from the corner of Anilu's mouth, and the left half of his cheek had been crooked. Really, I told you not to be impulsive, you are still so impulsive. Lucifer shook his head, a little speechless. Apart from Luffy, the only one who dared to rush up to Garp was Enel. Phew! A black shadow fell from the sky and landed on the bow of the netherworld. The navy code was blown by the wind. Piao Yang, although Garp is old, he is still full of momentum. Ha 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 ha, the lightning kid was too arrogant. I punched him because my hand was itchy. Lucifer kid, you won't mind, right? Garp laughed loudly, the clouds were calm and the wind was gentle. What if I care? Garp made it clear that he wanted to give Lucifer a blow, and Lucifer would not go along with his wishes. Enel is my crew member, I can only teach you a lesson. Garp, you are too arrogant. As soon as he finished speaking, Lucifer raised his hand and hit Garp on the bow of the ship. The air exploded, and an invisible force burst out of the air, instantly knocking Garp away. Garp stepped on the moon step and stopped in mid-air, pinching. I clenched my fist and felt a numbness in my fist. What a powerful, armed and domineering person. Garp's expression was a little solemn. He could feel that Lucifer did not use the power of the word spirit fruit just now, but used the purest armed color domineering. Release the armed color domineering through the air, and it can attack like a shock wave. Effect. It is the only time in Garp's life that he has cultivated armed color domineering to this level at such a young age. Even without the power of the word spirit fruit, Lucifer's own combat power cannot be underestimated. Lucifer, you are really not simple. It's a pity that a genius like you has taken the evil path of being a pirate. Garp seemed a little regretful. Without further ado, what are you here for today? Lucifer's attitude was cold. Since the two sides are in opposition, there is no need to make excuses. Oh. Sorry, I almost forgot about business, I'm sorry. Garp suddenly changed his face, from a murderous marine to a funny one. It's like this. The government of the world wants to invite you to become the king of the Shishibukai. This is the invitation letter. As he said that, Garp took out an invitation from his arms and threw it towards Lucifer. The invitation was thrown out by Garp, spinning quickly like a dart. Lucifer clamped the invitation with his fingers. Between fingers. Want me to be a Shichibukai? Lucifer's mouth showed a sarcastic look, but he did not open the invitation. Not long ago, Navy Admiral Kizaru led troops to arrest me, and now he is recruiting me again. Are all navies so capricious? Garp's face was a little ugly. As he expected, Lucifer did not accept the idea of becoming a Shichibukai. At the same time, this behavior was also ridiculed by Lucifer. Although this was an order from the world's government, the Navy's position has been repeated. But it's the Navy's face that's lost. Just tell me, do you agree or reject? Garp picked his nose, dug out a big ball of boogers, and made an indifferent gesture. Even if you are playing tricks, even 10 Garps are no match for Lucifer. Now is the most suitable posture for him. Of course he refused. Lucifer threw the invitation into the sea casually. I have no interest in becoming a lackey of the world government. It would be more appropriate for your navy to do this kind of thing. The navy aids the tyrants and helps the Tianlong people oppress the civilians, which has caused countless public complaints. Many people are saying that the navy is the lackey of the world's government. That is why the Revolutionary Army was born. Garp is speechless. Because he could not find a reason to refute. And the leader of the Revolutionary Army was his own son. If you don't agree, I have nothing to do with it. On the contrary, I don't want you to become a Shichibukai. Now that the matter is over, I'm leaving. Garp had no hope for this mission, and Lucifer's rejection was unexpected. How? Leaving now? Lucifer twisted his neck. So what do you want? Want to have a fight with me? Garp sensed Lucifer's murderous intention, clenched his fist, and made a few crisp sounds. If you want to compete with me, you brat, you still have 100 years to go. Huh, who is strong and who is weak can only be known after fighting. It's rare to see the legendary naval hero, so naturally I want to ask for advice. Phew. As soon as he finished speaking, Lucifer disappeared on the deck in an instant. The next second, the sky above his head split open, and countless flying swords and long knives were shot out. Blade storm. Lucifer waved his hand, and countless sharp blade storms suddenly shot towards Garp. Come on, fist bone. Garp clenched his fist with his right hand, and everything was dark. He punched out, and the air exploded. The power of his fist turned into a shockwave and roared out, hitting the blade storm. Kang! 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 A burst of metallic sounds exploded, and the blade storm he was defeated directly. Countless flying swords and long knives exploded and flew in all directions. Great Voyage, Invincibility begins from the word spirit fruit. Author, Drunk in March at Westlake. Chapter 70. Sure enough, it's not simple. Garp is the first person who can defeat the blade storm so easily. Take my punch. Garp teleported to Lucifer, and his dark fist had already hit his head. Bang! A shock wave erupted, setting off a violent wave of wind. Lucifer flew dozens of meters away, and a dark vacuum wall appeared in the palm of his left hand. It was it just now that blocked Garp's iron fist. Such a strong defense, I couldn't break it? Garp stared, looking a little surprised. It's too early to be surprised. Light sword 8-foot Megatama. Lucifer waved his hand, and countless golden swords suddenly appeared around his body. The swords shot out of the air and shot towards Garp like a heavy rain. Fistbone meteor swarm. Garp punched out both fists, creating countless afterimages, like the 1,000-armed Guanyin. Countless fist shockwaves hit the lightsaber, triggering a series of big explosions. Boom! 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 The sky continues. A fireball erupted, causing a sea of fire to spread. Several luminous swords shot into the sea, blasting huge holes. Garp's figure flashed, and he kept attacking, and he actually blocked all Lucifer's killing moves. What kind of medicine did this old guy take? How can you still have such fighting power at such an old age? Lucifer stretched out his finger and aimed at Garp in the distance, gravity crushing. There was a loud bang, and a huge depression was instantly squeezed out of the sea. Above the depression, Garp was hit by gravity in front of him, and his body fell rapidly. But when he was about to fall into the sea, Garp stopped his fall. The figure flashed continuously and appeared thousands of meters away. Ha 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 ha, little Lucifer, I won't play with you anymore. Garp laughed for a while, his speed increased again, and he flew into the distance. He actually ran away directly. In the distance, the Navy warship was also waiting there. It turned out that a battle broke out between Lucifer and Garp. By that time, the warship had already evacuated first. Want to leave? Not that easy. Lucifer flapped his devil's wings and chased after him. At the same time, he stretched out his palm and grabbed Garp hard. All things are attracted by heaven. A gravitational force exploded across thousands of meters in the sky, hitting Garp in the distance. Garp's body stagnated and flew back instantly. But he quickly escaped from the gravitational area and fled again. Garp's body, the magic is very strong, and the distance that can be teleported is very large using shave and moon step. Ha 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 ha, little Lucifer, you can't keep me, so don't waste your efforts. If you want to kill me, you are a million years too early. Garp's voice came again. At the same time, there were countless punch shock waves hitting Lucifer, trying to intercept his pursuit. Lucifer blocked the punch shock waves one by one, and then stopped in mid-air. Lucifer pointed his finger. Heaven, the armed domineering and overlord domineering energy within the body surged out wildly, sages Mahamudra. Rumble. A huge palm fell from the sky. It was completely black but surrounded by a layer of red substance. With this palm, Lucifer not only used the weapon-colored domineering energy to release, but also used the overlord-colored domineering energy to wrap around it. The combination of void creation armed color and overlord color domineering, as soon as the palm print came out, it was earth-shattering. Boom! A palm fell, carrying the powerful power of destroying all things, and instantly hit Garp in the distance. A powerful shock wave erupted, and a huge wave was hit in the boundless sea. There is a hollow in the shape of the palm. Garp was attacked and was directly knocked out, like a falling meteor, disappearing into the horizon. There was no beep in the system, indicating that Garp was not dead. Old guy, if you run faster this time, we will have a long time ahead. Lucifer flapped his demon wings and turned into a black shadow and returned to the netherworld. If Lucifer insists on chasing, he can still catch up with Garp. But it is almost impossible to kill Garp. Garp is very powerful. No one is absolutely sure of killing him. As for the warship under his command, Lucifer swept it with the domineering force of knowledge. Except for an adjutant, there were no strong people on the ship. Even if he killed him, Lucifer would not get many killing points. There was no point in pursuing it forcefully, so Lucifer gave up. Soon, Lucifer returned to the netherworld. Seeing Lucifer's return, Enlil, Cavendish, and the other three immediately came up to him. "Captain, how's it going? Did you kill Garp?" Enlil asked the most direct and boldest question. Judging from his angry look, it was obvious that Garp punched him and made him hold a grudge. To say that Enlil's trip to Qinghai was a bit pitiful. Follow Lucifer. After coming to Qinghai, Enlil was beaten violently by Kizaru first, and then by Garp. He didn't have much chance to show off. No, let him escape. Lucifer shook his head. Damn old guy, I will definitely not let him go when I see him next time. Enlil gritted his teeth in anger. Then you have to train hard. If you want to kill Garp, You are still far away. Lucifer did not attack Enelu. With the current Enelu, it would be good if he could not be killed instantly by Garp. Even if Enelu grows up and wants to kill Garp, the possibility is slim. Naval heroes are not just talk. Yes. If Garp was really that easy to kill, he wouldn't be alive today. On the other side, Garp walked through the air and finally returned to his warship. Lieutenant General Garp, are you okay? Seeing Garp coming back, Adjutant Bogart quickly stepped forward to ask. Ha 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 ha, how could something happen to me? That brat Lucifer wanted to kill me a million years too early. Garp laughed, and there was no injury at all on his body. But only Garp himself knew that his right arm had been broken. Lucifer's last move was not so easy to catch. Garp had to cover his whole body with armed domineering. Block. If the distance were not too far, he would have been injured even more seriously. Sure enough, this kid has completely grown up, and it is no longer possible to get rid of him. Through today's battle, Garp understands that Lucifer's strength has fully grown, and even he may not be able to defeat Lucifer head-on. The possibility of the Navy wanting to kill Lucifer is slim. Even if the Navy comes out in force, it may not be possible. Can kill Lucifer. His abilities are too diverse. Just the ability to fly has already made Lucifer invincible. Blue blue brew. Blue blue brew. Suddenly, the phone bug rang. Garp answered the phone bug, and the snail turned into a Warring States figure. Hey, Cap, how's it going? The voice of Warring States came from the other side. As expected, Lucifer refused. Garp replied. Is that so? But that's fine, as it won't cause commotion within the Navy. The original intention of Warring States and Garp was not to let Lucifer become a Shishibukai. It was just an order from the world government, and the two had to carry it out. But now, it was Lucifer himself who refused the invitation. It's not that they didn't contribute. Even the world's government can't blame them. How's it going over there? Nothing happened. Ha 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 ha, it's okay, it was just a fight with Lucifer. That brat is indeed very strong, but there is nothing he can do to me. That's good, come back first, we'll take a long-term view on Lucifer's matter. After the battle with Garp, the Netherworld continued to move forward along the route. After 10 days of going around and around, Lucifer and his party finally arrived at the Chambord Islands. The Chambord Islands are the endpoint of the first half of the Great Route, adjacent to the Red Continent. The archipelago is made up of 79 Yarkman mangrove trees. The ground is the roots of the trees, and bubbles will bubble up from the ground. There are towns and facilities on each tree, equivalent to 79 small islands. The Chambord Islands are the endpoint of the first half of the Great Voyage. Starting from the starting point of the Red Earth continent, no matter which route is chosen, you will eventually reach this island. It can be said that this is the only place to enter the New World. The Shampoo Islands are very close to the Navy headquarters, and Marineford is right next to it. As soon as something happens on the island, the Navy will arrive immediately. The Navy has also set up a naval branch on the Chambord Islands, so generally no pirates dare to cause trouble on the islands. But this island is not as safe as imagined. On the contrary, the Chambord Islands are more dangerous than many of the 3 No islands in the first half of the Grand Route.